Hello everybody, Corey here. This is Tuesday morning, and I was just fixing to say my last video, but I didn't get around to doing the updated estimate video because I was messing with that for probably an hour or so this morning due to some comments from yesterday. So I guess next to the last video, I just was waiting to do this one last because I figured it would take the most time. And I apologize I didn't get this done last night as I went to bed early. But just a reminder that I'm a licensed investment I am not a licensed investment or financial advisor, and that YieldMax ETFs are extremely risky. They go into depth of the below risk on their website and define those there. We're going to jump in and I'm going to try to get through these. I know every time I say I'm going to try to go real quick, it doesn't happen. We didn't close out of any trades, so we're not going to go on the trades tab. We'll go through the trades here as we do these. The stock did drop by 2 cents yesterday, even though the market was slightly up about 0.3%. Outstanding shares didn't change. We do have 19 tickers now. We purchased back in, or we got back into some of the positions we had on Friday, and we brought back 2 tickers that we previously had. All right, so let's start right here with the firm, which has come back to us. We have 998 contracts here. You can see what they paid a share, and then we have the short call that expires. I did not update these colors, but expires Friday. Strike price is $3.55 for the short call there. We are below that by 6%, and it looks like the stock price didn't do much yesterday. So, yeah, looking okay over there. Let's look at CleanSpark here. They did open up the short call for this week. With the 1,833 contracts, and then they added 406 shares to the synthetic position. We have our short call has a strike price of $20, which we're roughly underneath that by 9%. That's because the stock fell 6% yesterday, like most other Bitcoin related stocks and ETFs. We are above our synthetic position, so looking pretty good over there. So we're going to move on to coin here. They added 22 contracts to the synthetic position. No, I'm sorry. They opened up a new synthetic position with 22 contracts as a strike price of $2.30, and then they opened up the short call for the week, expiring on Friday with a $245 strike price. We're 11% below that strike price because the stock dropped 8% yesterday, but that then means that our synthetic positions were underneath those by 5 and 9%. We can see on the right-hand side that one that we're under 9% is bringing it down by 6 cents a share, the stock, the ULTY stock specifically. Sorry, I know I didn't do the normal things that hopefully those of you watching have already watched this before and understand what most of this means at this point. Then Carvana, we have that one back here with 394 contracts. Short call expiring Friday with a $94 strike. We're underneath that by 11%. And you can see the stock price did drop 1% yesterday. If we move on to Enphase, they added to one of the synthetic positions for last week, 29 contracts. So something's not right there. So this is why I'm really starting to dislike tracking this fund. I thought I did really good of scrubbing things, but apparently I did not. So what they did here, there's 29. They did 29 synthetic and short calls as if they weren't in this one already. Previously, when they've done that, it's because they closed out of it, but it was never reflected on the trades. And then eventually it'll disappear from here. But I'm looking at the data from Friday, and Friday we had this 105 strike price here at the 57 contracts, and then we had the 115 at hold on, which to make sure I'm on the right tab. Yeah, this is today. And then we had the 115 with 206 contracts, so 206 plus 29 would be 235. But they wouldn't have just opened up 29 contracts. They would have opened up enough to cover these, which would have been 292. Of course, in this case, I say 292. That's assuming that 29 is even accurate for this. If they were just looking at the contracts they already had for the synthetics last week, they would have opened up 263 contracts for the short call. So now the question is this even right? And then, so I'm just going to highlight this whole section red. And then I guess we'll see what they do on the trades and contracts today. All right, we're just going to move on. We have GigaCloud. All right, sorry I didn't catch that one, but we have GigaCloud here. I don't know if y'all be able to hear it or not, but it's starting to rain here. But we have GigaCloud. They added again 197. All of these are exactly the same. However, going back to Friday's holdings, okay, so this one's good because their short call doesn't expire for a few weeks, so that's why these are all exactly the same. Yeah, and up here, this, well, they didn't have a short call. Okay, so 197 contracts added to the synthetic. I know now why I hesitated. Because, yeah, that short call there doesn't expire for a few weeks, but it says new on the left-hand side. So let me double check to make sure. So this is that with that. So maybe for some reason, and this did happen to me earlier where I thought I changed a formula and I didn't. So the new and add and whatever wasn't coming over right. So let me just double check this. Actually, I know what it was now. It's because I just changed that short call to a synthetic a minute ago as I realized I missed that. And these other formulas were already done at that point. So that's why it said new. Because before this said synthetic versus short call, so it couldn't match it up when it did have the formula. So 197 was added to each one of these for the synthetic and the short call, for now a total of 966 contracts. So again, the short call doesn't expire for 2.5 weeks, which we are underneath by 15%. The stock has dropped 4% there. So if we look, this is actually bringing total the stock price up roughly 7 cents a share. All right, we're going to move on to Lyft. They open up a new synthetic position with a $15 strike price for those 381 contracts. And then they created the short call for this week for the 2037 contracts. It expires this week with a strike price of $17. So we are underneath that by 4%. It looks like the stock price didn't change too much today. Of course, we have two synthetic positions now. We are above the $15 strike price by 9% and below the $17 strike price by 4%. We can see overall this is affecting the stock price roughly 2 cents a share. We move on down to Mind Medicine. They added okay, so this one was another one that I did change after the fact. I'm pretty sure whether it was this morning or last night. It's what this tends to happen, right? When the synthetic and short call dates are about the same based on how my formulas are set up. So what they did, they just added 620 contracts to the synthetic strike price of $9, and of course, then the only short call they have there. So they have the short call strike price of $10, which they're under by 10%, and then they have the two synthetic positions, the $8 and $9 strike price, in which we are barely above there. But overall, because the strike price is out a couple of weeks, it's bringing the stock price down roughly 4 cents a share there. If we move on to MicroStrategy here, they added 5 contracts to the synthetic position with a strike price of $13.50, and they created the short call for this week for 26 contracts there, and it will expire Friday with the strike price of $13.90, which we're under by 7%. This shows that the stock rose yesterday by 1%, which is interesting. But it did have earnings yesterday in which it dropped after hours down to $11.93 that I know of. Of course, the last time I checked it was somewhere around $12.40, so I don't know that that will have much effect today. However, let's hope it doesn't stay down low too long, because we have 2.5 weeks and our synthetic strike prices are $13.50 and $15.00, which we're under currently by 4% and 14%. So overall, MicroStrategy is bringing the stock price down. Let's see how many. We only have one short call. Okay, so down roughly 10 cents a share. All right. So we're going to move on. We have B. Riley back with us. 903 contracts. Short call that expires this Friday with a $42 strike price, which are currently under by 8%. And then we have the synthetic positions with a $35 strike price, which we are above by 10%. The stock price did come up roughly 5% yesterday. We can see overall this is bringing the ULTY stock price up roughly 2 cents a share. Then we have Root. So we have that one back with us with 516 contracts. Short call position, $75 strike price, at which we're currently under 11%. And then we have our synthetic position of a $65 strike price, which we're above by 3%. And the stock price the stock price came up 4% yesterday. But we have an issue here. This is not right. So let me go back. Man, I just thought I was going to get to hurry up and finish these, right? So it does say 516 for all 3 of those on the trades. And on the holdings on Friday, we did not have Root. Root is, however, the one we had issues out of last week. I'm looking at my tab here. Root. It was the one that we had last week that had synthetic positions, 2 of them, at the end of the week before. And either way, that's way off on the share count. So it doesn't even, last week's share price stuff doesn't have anything, or the mess ups from last week. So my guess is this is a custodial issue. The custodian had to have screwed this up, because I can't, even looking at last week's stuff, there's no way. And we didn't have any strike prices with that last week regardless anyway. Therefore, if that is wrong, well, I know, unless for some reason the share count for the trades is wrong, which, no, that doesn't make sense either. Well, technically it could be, but the custodian wouldn't know that. They would just know what the sheet says. So 50 cents a share times 100 shares times 3694. Okay, yep, that's what I thought, which makes sense because that is my formula. So this would need to be changed to only reflect 516, which then means I would also have to update that on my all trades, or else it'll make our numbers way off, or not way, but make them off for the week. Sorry, I'm looking. So this was a negative number before. These other ones not being in the same. That's what I thought. Okay. So, well, it's not going to change the things here. Actually, yeah, I don't have to change this on the trades either, because these are the holdings and not the trade. So I will say, I'm just going to put it over here, negative 51,600 is actually what the market value is going to be. And putting that in there wasn't going to change the thing because I didn't have the calculation, but it's better than what it was, right? All right, so there's another one I didn't catch. All right, so let's move on to Sunrun here. I feel like, yeah, I'm zoomed in way too much. They added 290 contracts to the synthetic position and opened up the short call for this week of 3,039 contracts, expiring on Friday with a strike price of $11.50, which we're under by 7% currently. We're also above the synthetic strike price by 7%. The stock overall increased by 4%. This stock is bringing the ULTY stock up 4 cents a share. We'll move on to C here. We didn't have any trades as this one was rolled last week. So this one will expire this Friday, has a strike price of $64, the short call specifically. Now, it looks like, yep, we're over the strike price by 52 cents because the stock price did rise 3% yesterday. Overall, that's a negative 2 cents a share. But then if we look at our synthetic position here, we're 29% over our strike price. So that's bringing in the stock up roughly 19 cents a share. So for C, it's bringing the stock price, I don't know how these are rounded, but yeah, 17 cents a share, bringing ULTY up. If we look at SMCI, so they have gotten back into this position with 39 contracts. The short call expires this Friday with a $1,000 strike price, which we're currently under by 11%, and we are 1% over our synthetic strike price. And then if we go on to Symbotic here, they added 128 contracts to the synthetic position and opened up our short call position for the week at 828 contracts. So the short call that expires Friday with a $42 strike price, we are under by 4%, and we're 7% above our synthetics. Overall, this one's bringing up the stock price roughly 5 cents a share. Viking Therapeutics is the other one that had a short call rolled from last week to this week. So it has a strike price. It expires this Friday, and the strike price is $76, which we're under by 1%. We are above our synthetic strike prices by 1% and 37% there. Overall, this is bringing the ULTY stock price up roughly 3 cents. VERV Holdings, we are back in this one with 356 shares or contracts. Short call expires this Friday with a strike price of $98, which we are under by 3%, and we are over the synthetic strike price by 5%, which is $90. $90 strike price there. Stock price did rise by 1% yesterday, and it's bringing the ULTY stock price up roughly 3 cents. Then we have Wayfair here. They added 119 contracts to the synthetic position with the $50 strike price, and then they did the position for this week for a short call with 644 contracts expiring on Friday with a $58 strike price, which were under by 12%. The stock price did end up dropping 2% yesterday. We do have our synthetic positions here with the strike prices of $50 and $60. Okay, sorry. I was looking at the percentages and they were throwing me off there for a second. I don't know why. But we are above the $50 strike by 2%. However, we are 15% below the $60 strike price there. So if we look over on the right-hand side, it looks like the ULTY stock price is... this is causing the ULTY stock price to be down roughly 8 cents a share. And then our last one here, we have Wolfspeed. They added 72 contracts to the synthetic position and opened up our short call for this week with 1,215 contracts. Short call expires Friday with a $32.50 strike price, which we're currently under by 14%. However, the stock did come up yesterday 6%. We do have the synthetic position, which it's over by 11%. Overall, this is bringing the ULTY stock price up roughly 4 cents. And this looks close, but that is not going to be exactly right because of the other 4 cent issues. So it might be down a cent or two. But anyway, sorry for the delay in this and so many issues after I thought I did pretty decent in scrubbing. I guess I just wasn't looking for some of those specific things. Even though I did look for the one, I did scrub that this morning too. But anyway, I'm going to let y'all go and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.